Okay, this is the third time I'm recording this. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I'm so upset. It's fine. We're gonna put on a happy face and we're gonna do it again. Hi, my name is Riley. This is my channel, Riley Reads. And in this video, I will be doing a wrap-up of the videos I read in August. I read 7 books, which is the most I've read in a month since I've been keeping track. So yeah, we'll just talk about them. The first one that I read is called Where the Deer and the Antelope Play by Nick Offerman. I checked this out at the library. This was told in first person. And it is divided into 3 parts. The first part is Offerman's thoughts and feelings while he is taking a hike with 3 of his friends. The second part is him going and visiting these farms that do farming sustainably. They don't overproduce animals. They don't kill them before they need to or before their time is up, that sort of thing. It's very environmentally friendly. And Offerman has made connections with those families, and so he visits them. And the third part is during the pandemic, during the first lockdown, he talks about buying an RV and going on a long RV trip with his wife. And it was really cool. I really liked reading it. Offerman gives her his perspective on environmentalism and climate change and politics. And the struggles of buying an RV. His voice is very strong because he has such a distinctive voice. You can hear this book just in his voice the whole time. It's really great. It makes it all the more fun to read. My favorite part was when him and his wife were at an RV park and this older couple in an RV brought out some hardwood floor to dance on, and they just danced, and it was so cute. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Next book that I read is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the 3rd book in the Brown Sisters series. I read the first one. I haven't read the second one yet, but the 3rd one fit the prompt in the summer readathon that I was a part of in July, and so had to pick it up. I checked this book out from the library too. Eve is confronted by her parents who are upset she hasn't held down a job and say that they are done paying for her because she's in her mid to upper 20s, and so it's about time she gets a job and is able to support herself. This really upsets her, and so she leaves, drives away, and is just driving aimlessly until she stumbles across a bed and breakfast. And she sees a hiring sign for a chef. So she goes in and meets the owner, Jacob, who is our love interest. She has an unplanned job interview, and so, which doesn't go that great. So she leaves. But Jacob goes after her because he really needs a chef for this event that's coming up. But Eve gets in her car and accidentally hits Jacob. So she ends up having to stay and run the bed and breakfast while he recovers from the broken arm that she gave him. And their love blossoms from there. It's really cute. There are some open door, spicy scenes, and it's really cute. And Eve is just so caring and kind, and you just want to see her be proud of herself. Jacob is blunt, but is very sweet under the surface, and you get to see that. One thing I love about Talia Hibbert's books is that the 2 love interests each have their own problems that they work on outside of the relationship, and you can see that making their relationship better, which I really love. The ending was very cute. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. The third book I read this month is called The Subtweet by Vivek Shreya. I think I'm saying that right. I checked out the ebook from the library. It was shorter, but it was really interesting to read. The characters' point of view were all like women of color, which was very cool. When Neela's song gets covered by internet star Rukmini, the two musicians meet and a transformative friendship takes place. But as Rukmini's star rises and Neela's stagnates, jealousy and self-doubt creep in. With a single tweet, their friendship implodes, one career is destroyed, and the two women find themselves at the center of an internet firestorm. Yeah, so this book addresses the permanence of the internet, media pitting women against each other, insecurities, and how there are so many more layers to viral stories than you would think. I like Neela's character, that she seemed like a jerk at first, but then as like her and Rukmini's friendship developed, you got to see a little bit of a softer side to her. It was really cool examination of our culture and of going viral right now and the ups and downs that come with that. We go back and forth between different perspectives. It's mostly Neela and Rukmini, but after the viral tweet, we don't get Rukmini anymore, which I think is really interesting, and I think represents what happens in like main culture too sometimes. I didn't so much like the ending. I wish there was just like a nice little bow wrapped on top, but that's not how the world works. That's not how internet drama works. But I also didn't really like the character whose perspective we ended on. And so, yeah. But I gave this one 3.5 stars. The next book that I read was one I started a while ago, called The Moth Presents All These Wonders, True Stories About Facing the Unknown. If you don't know, The Moth is this organization program that hosts events where people come and tell stories, like personal stories, which is super cool. They post videos, they have a podcast. It's all pretty cool. I feel like I would have connected with these stories more if I had seen them performed, or heard them, so maybe I should have gone with an audiobook if they had one. I just owned the book, so but I know that I some of them made me laugh, some of them made me want to cry, some of them made me really mad, and I don't really remember why they made me feel those things. I remember one story that I liked about a woman whose dream was to write on SNL, and then her dream came true, and then she figured out she didn't really like it as much as she thought she would. So that's the story I remember. There are some good ones in there. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. Another one that I started a while ago and finished this month was The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath and her collection of poems. I had this Barnes & Noble edition, and I didn't want to have it and just have it for show and not have read it. I didn't mark it up. I tabbed it up. I really enjoyed it. It's been a bit since I finished The Bell Jar, because that was in the beginning of the book, so I don't remember so many details, but I liked that Esther wasn't a very likable character. I like non-likable women in my books, I guess is what we're getting at in this wrap-up. Like, when she left her roommate outside in the hallway, drunk, I was like, oh, okay, that's how we're gonna be. Okay, cool. Like, I also thought it was interesting the way Esther talked about weight in the book. It was just like little parts that she talked about it, but I thought it was really interesting that was something that her mind seemed to be on sometimes. Yeah, like she comments on this guy who she doesn't really want to be with, but is like sending her letters and stuff, and how he's gained weight since being at the hospital, and how like disgusted she was by that. And then when she was in the mental health facility, how like she commented about how she started gaining weight, and I just thought that was super interesting. I can see like why, I can definitely see why it's a classic. It's like really great. And I thought it was so cool to see Plath's like growth from like her first year writing poetry, where she just mostly writes about nature, and then she starts writing about other things like her feelings and her experiences and that sort of thing. It was great. And she's got some like wacky lines in there. She's goofy sometimes, which like I thought that was really cool, and made me enjoy it so much. 5 stars. 5 stars to Sylvia Plath every time. The next book that I read this month was Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I read I Kissed Shara Wheeler in July, and I really liked that, so I wanted to give her other books a try. So I had to go with Red, White, and Royal Blue. So this book follows Alex and Henry. Alex is the son of the President of the United States, and Henry is a Prince of Wales, England, that sort of thing. The two have been feuding for a few years, and then everything explodes when Henry and Alex are fighting and fall into the wedding cake. And then to save face, they have to pretend to be friends, just so no one's talking about how they hate each other. They have to save face for their country. They start talking and liking each other, and then at a New Year's Eve party, Henry kisses Alex, and oh my gosh, it's so cute. So they have secret little like rendezvous all over the country. They like find excuses to meet at charity events. It's like really great. It's so cute. It was cool to read about the politics of the story and how they affected their relationship and what Alex wants to do in the future. He has these plans of going into politics like his mom and his dad, but then he changes his mind in the story, which is really cool. I loved June, his sister, and Nora, his like best friend. They're like such a team, and it's so cute. They're like, I love their relationships with each other. And the emails between Alex and Henry, oh my gosh, so cute. The one complaint I have about the book is that Henry's on the cover. Henry's on the cover of the book, the blonde hair, the British uniform and that sort of thing. But who's the other guy? Who's that man? Who's that white man there? Because Alex is Mexican-American. He describes himself on page 1551 as not white passing at all. So who is that white man? Who is that other white man on the cover of this book? Because I don't know him. He's not in the book at all. That was my one pet peeve that just made me mad every time I looked at the cover, but I gave the book 4 out of 5 stars because I really enjoyed it. It was great. Cute and entertaining, and will get you out of a reading slump. So, it's great. I ended the month with a 5-star read with Rudy Francisco's poetry book, Helium. I'm familiar with Rudy's work through his videos on button poetry, and I got this book a while ago and finally picked it up, and I'm so glad I did, because Rudy is just a fantastic poet. His metaphors are so fun to read. They're so great and so accessible, and just I love them. I love them so much. This guy knows how to do short poems. Like, every Instapoet step aside. Rudy knows what he's doing. I will read you one of the many great short poems in this book. So this one's called Petal. The tongue has a jagged beauty, and I know how easily the mouth can become a rose bush. Need I say more? Get this, highly recommend. Highly, highly recommend. So good. So yes, 5 out of 5 for Rudy Francisco. So that is my wrap up. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, like and subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you next time. Bye!